Cops mock, laugh at a black man who later dies in custody. Put it up, full man. It's a very sad story. It is going to make your blood boil. In Texas, a 33-year-old Mr. Glenn Smallwood Jr. was arrested on a misdemeanor. The misdemeanor was public intoxication, July 2023. Mr. Smallwood Jr. was taken into custody at the Angelina County Jail, where his family claims in a federal lawsuit obtained by Atlanta Black Star, great reporting by them, by the way, that he was left to die amid a, quote, readily apparent medical and mental health crisis. A nurse and a sheriff's lieutenant are among those named in this suit. The suit was filed Tuesday. They are accused of failing to get Mr. Smallwood to the necessary help he needed and treated him with relative indifference, if not outright contempt. He was arrested after staff at the Burke Center, a mental health facility where he had previously been treated, alerted authorities that Smallwood was, quote, in a state of active psychosis. Staffers there had attempted to have him involuntarily transferred to a hospital or inpatient treatment, but Smallwood left the facility as they were finalizing the paperwork. So what do you have here? You have an individual suffering a mental health scenario. This is a hospital call. This is a health call, right? There's more. According to the suit, it was believed that Smallwood self-medicated with methamphetamine, which can exacerbate the psychotic symptoms. The Burke Center had issued a mental health warrant for Mr. Smallwood. But instead of taking him to the hospital for treatment, Lufkin police took him to jail after he was spotted behaving bizarrely. The reason jurisdictions even have mental health warrants is to ensure that they are not treated as a typical arrest. What good is the system to distinguish when the culture that enforces that system doesn't give a damn? There's more. Per the county policy regarding intoxicated detainees, Smallwood was strapped in a slightly reclined chair while he sobered up. That positioning made it harder for him to breathe, the suit maintains, and he became listless. The Army veteran and father of 3 young children had arrived at the jail in a state of distress. That's according to the lawsuit, which states he was paranoid, confused, sweating, shaking, unsteady, and bleeding from his mouth. As seen on an officer's body cam, guards are, quote, smiling, laughing, and joking in reaction to his sickness. At this point, Mr. Smallwood is vomiting while strapped to a restraint chair. One officer is quoted in the lawsuit, quote, in jest, that, quote, I might throw up if I see that again. Man, I can't, end quote. But instead of seeking help, guards tightened the restraints and wheeled him into a, quote, detox holding cell. Before shutting the door, guards heard him retching and moaning, and then they saw him lose consciousness, the complaint alleges. The complaint says a nurse, who is described as entry level with a limited scope of license, proceeded to perform a sternum rub on Mr. Smallwood. He failed to respond. He awakened temporarily after she employed smelling salts, at which point the nurse left him alone, thinking he was okay. The nurse returned about an hour later and took vitals, finding them abnormal, but left for the night without taking any further action Other than to assure the guard Smallwood was not in danger, the plaintiff's attorney describes. Now, before I go to the next part of this story, a sternum rub did not make this man regain consciousness. Typically, that is a significant sign that something is so off. Homeostasis is not present in this body. He is unconscious because something is unbalanced, whatever that may be. So instead of relying on that information to do vitals, then the nurse decides to take this other route, bring in another stimulant process, and say he's okay. Leaves him for an hour, comes back and does vitals. Vitals are abnormal. About 15 minutes later, the guards found him dead, according to the suit. The suit alleges the nurse was not authorized to make this type of independent diagnosis nor determination. Quote, her actions presented a clear disregard for the substantial risk that her intoxicated patient would die of an overdose or another medical condition. The suit, and I want to say this before I continue, the suit describes the relationship properly. That is her patient. Just because it is a facility of incarceration, it does not negate the duty of responsibility per statute, per ethics, nor per policy at that institution of incarceration. Quote, she did not notify a supervising medical provider that she had decided to use smelling salts on an unresponsive patient and unilaterally determined that no further intervention was necessary. She did not even document her actions and denied him life-saving medical intervention. Here's another dynamic. Obviously, you would have the opinion, as I do, that she has done this before because it was so normal in the everyday work process, the fluidity of how she engaged her job, the comfort in which the deputies responded to her assurance. If you are a cop, you know good and damn well that if the nurse is wrong, you will be blamed also, even if you're just doing it to look out for your own ass. You don't care about the person. We get that. But damn it, have some respect for your profession or your family or the church you go to, something. Put him a full mask. You're looking at the county sheriff. Buck stops with him. His name is Tom Selman. Sheriff Selman, whose lieutenant was present during the detention of Mr. Smallwood and is named in the suit, said in an email statement to McClatchy News that he, quote, met with Mr. Smallwood's family personally after he passed away, and they are good people. Before adding, quote, I believe our attorneys would be disappointed in me if I made any statements regarding the case. Well, there you go. All right. So the sheriff has a unique way of saying I've lawyered up, and I have no further comments. Sharon, what say you about this?
Yeah, and a nice buttering up of the dead man's family. I'm hoping that they don't fall for that. I'm sure they won't. He didn't just pass away. He could have been here, likely, had someone given a damn, but nobody did. So don't act like you care now, okay? The buck stops with the sheriff and everybody else who laughed, thought it was cute, and didn't render appropriate aid. These people have got to be punished to the full extent of the law. I mean criminally as well as civilly.
Yeah, for sure. This level of negligence, at best, is negligence. At worst, obviously, is criminal intent. This is criminal negligence
Thank you.
And I have no idea why the arrests have not already taken place, but they should. We're going to continue to bring you updates to this story.